Yeah, let's start. Let's start how a lot of these lifts have been starting. Rope pushdowns with the squeeze. You know, I'm not talking like a full 5 seconds, but at least kind of a real good moment. And then there's, I mean, I can hardly compare it to any other tricep movement. Like, the rope kind of has an extra sort of sensibility to it that lets me really feel my triceps relax into the negative. You know, because usually I feel like when people kind of hype up doing a slow negative, they don't really explain it, you know. But when I do the rope here, real hard squeeze, I basically try to fire my triceps as hard as possible at the bottom, and then gradually release that tension slowly. And I mean, I think it's half just a size thing. Like, the bigger you are, I feel like it's just maybe a nature of getting that big, but also it's just easier to really like flex certain muscles, right? Like, if you take a guy who's never worked out before, it's going to be hard for him to like manually flex his pecs. So maybe it's just the nature of working out for a while. But with this movement, at least, I can really feel these like little micro, like just kind of little movements that I don't really get with anything else. But not the whole stack, because the whole stack here is 250, which would be a bit much. Usually, like the cable stacks in most just regular gyms go up to about 190. So this is 210. Just about as heavy as I can go, but not so much that I'm, you know, doing anything too crazy. All right. Okay. Oh my gosh. One or two more here. I'll make the one after the next one a little lighter, I think. Okay. Oh my gosh, yeah, I lied. I think let's just move on. 2 of those is probably as much as I need. Sweet start though. Overhead tricep will be perfect. And this is like the same handle as an easy bar, well, as an easy bar for like regular skull crushers, but this setup is a bit easier on my elbows. It's not nothing. Like, I wouldn't want this stack to be much heavier because I wouldn't even be able to make use of it, right? That's like having a 700-pound leg extension. Your knees can only handle so much that way, you know. But now that I've kind of pre-exhausted with those ropes, I think this will be good. So those rope sets were very squeeze focused. I'm talking holding at the bottom, very slow return to the top, and then hold again. There's not much to hold here, right? Because at the top, I mean, I'm really just holding my arms up. You know, I'm not really like pulling anything apart. So as much as I can squeeze, it's just not a squeezing movement, right? It's like a barbell bench versus a converging chest press. Which one are you gonna feel more of a burn at the top of? But what this machine does specialize in is the stretch. So especially having my arms way up here, it's now putting my long head, like the thicker chunk of my tricep, in a much more, I don't want to say compromised position, because it's not bad, but just more of a stretched, activated position. And I think I've been lacking my overhead, long head stretch focus work for a while. So this is a good change up for me. Let's do a little sleeve roll up, get a little bit of a pump or a semi-pump check. Really, this is just nice because I've got a mirror directly in front of me, so I can actually see myself doing these, which is yeah, just another part of this place that spoils me. All right, come on. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. Oh. All right, that might have been a little too heavy, but still a good 2 sets. All right. Yeah. You know, not all the gyms I go to, at least, you know, as of late, have had a good easy bar cable attachment, which used to be kind of my preferred one, but kind of just acting out of necessity since that one gets used so much. I mean, curls, push downs, whatever, front raises, everybody loves it. I started using the straight bar, and now I don't want to switch back. I almost feel a straight bar a little cooler. Like it's a little funky because you got to remember it kind of contorts your wrists a little because the easy bar is a bit more like of a natural pushing position, but it still feels pretty good. So now let's just do the stack with reasonable tempo and go from there. This would be kind of a classic straight set, nothing fancy. There. Now. Okay. Oh, goodness. Okay. Oh my gosh. I got a plan. I know what the finisher will be, and then we can start curls. I feel as though I've gotten my heavy tricep work out of the way, or at least done, not out of the way. So I think now finishing with some underhand squeezing extensions, maybe superset it into some overhand pushdowns just as a burnout, will be perfect. So this is kind of fancy because it's almost combining a pushdown and a rope, right? Because at the top, you know, good stretch, underhand, it's just kind of a different angle. But at the bottom, it kind of turns into an overhead extension because I don't keep my palms up the whole time. I kind of twist them a little. It's like I'm doing the reverse of a curl. But either way, all I can really say is it just feels good. You know, I don't have a study to back up the, you know, myofibrillar activation, but I can tell you firsthand, this is going to be a decent burn and a good finisher. Whew. All right, come on. Ugh. 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 Okay. Okay. Oh my gosh. Whoa. All right. Yeah, let's start curling. Triceps is freaking complete. Let me ask you this. Are the below the knee shorts back? Probably not. But I do like these. And it's getting warmer too. The pants are getting a little too much sometimes. But playing for curls, I haven't started with these for a while, but I do like them. And frankly, on like a individual lifter level, like unless you have somebody spotting you or something, this is one of the more intense bicep sets I can do. At least like in one single set. So what I mean by that is I'm gonna do, single arm right here, not much of a swing, regular curls, not really gonna hold it at the top either. But so I've warmed up and I can feel with the 65s, 10 reps without any self-assistance, not super likely. So, 8, 10, whatever I end up getting to, once I can't really get, much above right here, that's when I'll take my other arm, help me on the way up, and then let go. So this arm has to just ride the negative, right? I'm not just gonna drop it and rip my bicep off. I'm gonna exert as much force down as possible. And by doing an extra 5 assisted reps like that, I've had bicep days where I did 3 sets of this, and then I think I still did one more squeezing movement as a finisher, but like with these 3 self-assisted sets, if I do 3, there's not gonna be much room for any more blood flow in my biceps. So, no more talking about it. Let's just make this shit happen. With a different song though. There we go. All right. All right. Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. Oh, yeah. I think 2 more of those. Oh. Oh my God. Oh shit. Oh my gosh. One more of those. Holy crap. If this set is as nasty as I'm going to make it, or at least as I'm imagining that I will be able to make it, then I think this will be it. So, honestly, even though those dumbbell sets were pretty heavy, they were still reasonably controlled. So I think I'm gonna make this cable curl set a little nastier. There's some potential for a drop set. We'll see just how much oomph I can get out of the heavier portion. Because, you know, as much as I think there's value in adding intensifiers, all right, drop sets, supersets, rest pause kind of stuff, if you can pick a weight, go nuts with it, and pretty much just empty your fuel tanks for what you can manage in that set to like at least a degree that you're happy with and that you know you actually pushed it, I don't think there's any need to really overdo it. And trust me, I've gone through phases for sure. You know, I had I think it might have been like at least a year or something, because in my mind, this was what I was thinking. And I mean, I was making gains, so it was definitely working, but I think that's more to be attributed to just, you know, the fact that I was working out consistently, you know, with getting my protein intake and everything else. But my logic was, all right, why just do a straight set if I can always drop the weight and do a drop set? I can always drop it and do more. So in my mind, that was my thought process. And I would basically only do supersets, or no, I'd only do drop sets for every set. Every set of pushdowns was heavy weight first, light, go back, drop set. I mean, I've done like quadruple bicep drop sets as a finisher. You know, I think I might have been overdoing it. You know, I'd say if 75% of your work comes from just regular hard straight sets to failure, and then the other 25% you dabble a little bit, I think that's a good ratio. But there's no need to flash it up. But if that's the kind of training you like, gee man, if you go hard, it's still probably gonna work. You know, there isn't it's not like you can come to the gym and do a movement wrong, like there's a rule, and suddenly the workout's not gonna do anything. You know, give yourself a little more credit than that. All right. Okay. Come on. Okay. Oh my goodness. All right. Yeah. I think we're pumped. Let's pose down. All right. So, yeah. Fully freaking pumped. Let's see how we're looking. Frankly, I think this will probably be the lighting setup, at least for the semi, you know, reasonably near future. I'm getting there. I don't know. I need to know what I'm doing before I set up real fancy lights on the ceiling. And I don't want to just do the classic, like, fucking hexagon lights that every gym has. It's, I feel like that's a little bit played out, honestly. But, let's see. And I scanned over there. I think I must have taken the measuring tape freaking home. But honestly, that's okay. I don't need to know the exact, like, number of inches of how pumped I am on a lift by lift basis. One being because lift by lift, shit man, I might lose half an inch. Let's say I was a little bit, underhydrated one day. Like, not enough that, like, I felt groggy or anything, but, like, that my arms just didn't get as pumped. What, am I supposed to feel bad that my arms were 20¼ inches instead of 20½? You're kind of just grasping at straws there, I feel. So it's worth looking at, but, don't freak if you're suddenly, slightly weaker, slightly smaller one day versus the next. Shit's just gonna kind of change. Oh, goodness. Yeah. This side is freaking cool, too. Yeah. Let me see if I can make sure I see myself. Yeah. Whoop. There we go. Yeah, getting a little freaking double whammy here. Goodness. Oh, well, certainly feel like a freak. My shoulders are still large and rounded over, even unpumped. Yeah, that was a good lift. So now I get to go home, eat something, sleep, and I think tomorrow will almost certainly be a rest day because I've got quads as my next lift. And I'm trying to up my quad intensity. Well, kinda. I feel like I'm almost more so trying to up my quad just overall work and activation. So what that means is instead of my older approach of, okay, let's do like, 1 or 2 crazy heavy sets of something for quads, be it, leg press, squat, hack, whatever, and then just finish with a bunch of like, leg extensions. Not that I was going easy on the leg extensions, but I think I'm missing out on that sort of volume of pressing, so I want to do like, 6 sets of heavy leg press, a few sets of pendulums, really kind of want to up my volume because I think I've been slacking quad wise. And when I add more pressing work, I feel like it does give me a little bit extra oomph compared to my, typical just leg extension bias movements. But that's for me to think about later. Now I just get to say, ooh, I'm pumped up and go home a happy camper. Oh, there we go. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, those self-assisted bicep curls too. Yeah, I need yeah, it's gonna be good once Mark gets back for the summer, because we'll actually, I'm sure we'll kind of schedule our lifts together, and then I can have him next to me to give me some assisted reps on those. Or I just got to figure out a way to just add them into the routine somehow, because assisted reps versus regular failure on your own, I don't know, man. Hard to compare, honestly. Like, if I do a set of pull downs versus if I do a set of pull downs and once it starts to get heavy, I have somebody help me on the way down and then let me ride the negative back up. I mean, to say that it turns into a different set altogether could even be a bit of an understatement. You know what I'm saying there? But that's just kind of my logic. So, all in all, yeah, I think we're set up for some new ground this bulking phase, because I think I'm floating around, yeah, I think I've hit a little bit of a plateau at about 263 or so. And I say a little bit of a plateau because it doesn't really concern me. But yeah, I think now's my cue to up my food intake. Because I've been bouncing around like the mid 3000s the last few weeks, which has been enough to get, you know, to the size I'm at now. But, you know, if I want to continue to pack on more weight, it's not just a question of, okay, have a good lift, come back and recover. It's have a sick lift, come back and recover, and over recover by having enough food and energy and calories and just straight up nutrients to actually pack on and build new tissue rather than just, you know, rebuild the tissue to its kind of original size. You know, everybody's dogging on the logic of like saying micro tears or any shit like that, but just as an analogy, I mean, it's a pretty good way to think about it, you know. And who cares if it's actually what's going on? If that's, you know, something that can kind of motivate you to go even harder, then I think you're fucking good. You know, so what I mean by that is I want to make sure that all my sets are just nuts and crazy enough that afterward I'm going to feel a certain amount of just like fatigue and soreness and, I mean, kind of pain in a sense. You know, not like conventional, like you burned yourself pain, but, you know, you get what I'm trying to get at. Enough to the point where in my mind I can kind of visualize, okay, my chest is wrecked, I need to go home and I need to start this fucking process of recovery. Like, frankly, I can feel my chest like crazy today. Honestly, even more sore than it was the day after I hit it last time. I'm not saying that being sore means you had a good lift, but it's definitely not a terrible indicator, because I've kind of changed up my my chest lifts the last couple lifts. Because instead of doing like 2 or 3 kind of quick, heavy, nasty sets, I'm kind of biasing some more slower, controlled, longer sets. Kind of like how I'm doing quads, you know. Instead of doing all the kind of quicker squeezing rep stuff, kind of biasing longer, more torturous, heavy sets, I think has a little bit of a magic to it that I have not been making use of in my kind of, you know, previous roundabout sort of way. But yeah, I think tomorrow a rest day is more than warranted. So I'll still bring you along for cardio, but afterward I'll just kind of go home, get some food in my system, and get ready for quads in 2 days, right? And it's getting warmer. I think I need to renew my freaking fishing license, because honestly it's been warm enough the last couple days. I bet all the damn catfish in the river are kind of starting to wake up. There's a couple spots around me I like. There's one where it's just like this big ass reservoir. It's like 2 football fields put together, just a big square looking thing, and they stocked it full of all sorts of shit. There's like just regular sunfish, a bunch of catfish of a couple varieties. Like there's the regular scrappy gray ones with the needles, which kind of suck, because I mean, I don't think I've ever thrown one back and had it not stab me. Like I know I should probably do it a certain way. I don't know. I just can't seem to figure it out. But there's also trout. Never caught a trout though. And frankly, it doesn't really bother me, because usually the method is bring 2 rods, lawn chair, and then put half a hot dog on like a big ass, like, I mean, the hook's almost the size of a quarter around. Sling it halfway, let it sink to the bottom, and really just sit there and wait. You know, and if you got I forget the technique, so I think I need to relearn it. But if I do it the right way, usually it just ends up slipping right into the corner of whatever bites its mouth, and once it starts to pull away, that's my cue to freaking rip it. Would I eat one? You know, are you ever going to see a Sam catch and cook? Probably not. Probably not. They're a little dirty. That's more of a, you know, actual saltwater ocean kind of situation. I'd be more comfortable with that. There was this one guy I really like watching. He's got a whole fishing YouTube channel. I'm sure he still posts. More of a California kind of guy. So he's always doing some shit over there, catching I forget what they're called. It's the damn fish is blue. Like, it eats so many blue crabs that its actual like body and the meat of it is just like, may as well be damn, you know, sky blue. It's kind of cool. But yeah, I'm sure we'll see that eventually. Next time we do any kind of like a Florida trip or something, I think that'll be a perfect little activity for me and Martu, and we'll kind of tag you along, get some fish clipping action. Last time I went, not deep sea fishing, but kind of intercoastal-ish over in Connecticut. That's when I went to the New Haven Powerhouse, and that is a damn fucking cool gym. I gotta make my way back over there sometime, because it's just a freaking mecca. I felt like a total chump though, because I came in for, let me see if I can remember, I only did like, actually yeah, I think I only did one lift there, because it was kind of far from where we were staying, so it was just really, you know, the 1 day trip. It was like almost an hour drive, but it was cool enough, it kind of warranted it. But yeah, I had quads, and I had just freaking tweaked my knee like the week before. So I walk into this badass powerlifting gym. I'm talking like everybody was fucking serious, and I'm getting ready to do some crazy Smith squats or something. And then I just had to camp out on the, on the freaking leg curl and the leg extension machine, because I was so, well, I mean, I just couldn't really load anything. Like, I went on the Smith and I did like 2 plates to start, but it just, yeah, it was really tweaking me. So another story of regret. Well, maybe not regret per se, but another story of kind of a word of warning in a sense, not to tweak anything if you can freaking help it. But yeah, I think nothing else to say. Just get back to the house, get some food, go to sleep, and then repeat the process tomorrow. Well, kinda. A little more chill, but really sort of jumpstart the recovery. So either way, I'll see you then.